So you really want to build a pole barn? Hey, it's Mr. C. Welcome back to the channel.
It's Mr. C.
That's exactly what I asked myself when I went out and bought this pole barn kit, loaded it up on a trailer and brought it over the mountains. What am I getting into? I've never built a pole barn before. I'm not sure if I even know what to do. Come along with me as I make mistakes and make success and put this pole barn up, and hopefully it turns out right. The first thing I did on the pole barn was strip the vegetation and the topsoil off. You can see there where I've got the soil pushed back, and I have removed a lot of vegetation and roots and rocks and things in the staked off area that I had set for my project. I originally started with a 24 by 32 idea and ended up going with a 24 by 30 pole barn. Here I've brought in some topsoil or some fill that I had on the property there to get everything kind of leveled out and get it ready, initially ready to go ahead and set the poles there and let it be compacting, and the more I drove on it, the more it compacted there. You see the tractor there, that's the first piece of rental equipment that I used was a loader, tractor with a loader. And so count the pieces as we go there, see how many we use. The next thing I did right after I got the site cleared off and basically leveled out was I drilled the holes for the post. At that point, I rented a skid steer that had an auger on the front of it, an 18-inch auger that I could drill a 4-foot deep hole in the ground and put the post in and fill it with concrete. Well, naturally, I ran into trouble there, and you can see the back two posts on the left are not set because I had some large rocks there. So I rented this excavator and went ahead and dug those rocks out. You can see here, and got all 8 posts set and braced. And we had a lot of rain and stuff. I had to use plastic, but eventually just went ahead and poured the concrete in the holes and got them set in concrete. All right, so far that's 3. I had a tractor with a loader, I had a skid steer with an auger, and I had an excavator all rented that I used to help. And then once the posts were set and concreted in the ground, I got the tops cut off at the right height, and it was time to set the trusses. The trusses weren't real heavy. They were bulky and large, but they were way too heavy for me to pick up, so I went ahead and rented an aerial platform. So that's piece number 4, aerial platform to raise the trusses up. You see here I raise them up with the straps, got them in position. Once I got them in position, I climbed up a ladder on the post and bolted them to the post. And moved on to the next one. I was able to rig it up where I could release the strap from the truss from the ground, and I could get it loose and hooked to the next truss. Also, I'll be using the aerial platform to put the purlins in, as you see here. The aerial platform really helped out a lot with this project, not only from lifting the trusses, a tremendous amount of weight, basically 200 pounds, way more than I could lift, and that 24-foot length, there's just no way I could manage that on a ladder up over my head or anything like that. So really helped out there. Also with these purlins, the purlins are 2x6 yellow pine, and they're really pretty heavy. 10-foot and 12-foot 2x6s. I was able to just lift those up with the aerial platform and drop them into the slots, cut them to length, and screw them down. Made quick work of these purlins, a big stack of 2x6s for sure. I also used the aerial platform to finish off the gable ends and the overhangs, and just set the metal. I was able to use it like a little mini elevator. I would shove the metal up onto the roof from the side and use the aerial platform like a little mini elevator. Well, this pole barn is going to eventually be completely closed in with a concrete slab. So the next thing we had to work on was getting the slab poured and getting form boards up, getting this thing, the final grade set for the floor and the thickened edges. You can see here we've excavated, so the fifth piece of equipment would be the excavator again. The building's built, the roof's on, time for the concrete slab, needed the excavator. I read this Yanmar 35, really nice piece of equipment to excavate inside under the roof to get this ready for concrete. Chickens came out and helped me scratch in the dirt too. Well, hired a man to bring me some gravel, dumped it off here, and 18 tons of gravel. Sure looks like a lot of stone get spread out. And there's my next piece of equipment. I had to rent a walk-behind skid steer, put that gravel down and get it all spread out here. And there's my gravel, and there's where it's going. Got it all spread out and needed to compact. So that's my next piece of rental equipment, a compactor. Here you see me just going crazy with my rental compactor. I got everything ready for concrete, and look now, here comes the mud. I hired a man to finish the concrete. He poured it and finished it, and look at that slick floor. That's not wet. That's what it looks like. It is nice and flat and shiny. And that's what a professional can do with some concrete. I'm glad I got him to do that. He did a great job. Hey, thanks for joining me and following along as we build this pole barn, get it up. And I hope you come back and watch as we finish it. It'll have completely closed in with a garage door and a storage room, in a good safe place with some power and lights where we can work on our cars and park our cars. See you next time.